This is it, this is it. This is life, the one you get. So go and have a ball. Well, this is it, this is it. Straight ahead and rest assured, you can't miss sure at all. So while you're here, enjoy the view. Keep on doing what you do. Hold on tight, we'll muddle through one day at a time, one day at a time. So up on your feet, somewhere there's music playing. Don't you worry none, just take it like it comes. One day at a time, 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 one day at a time.
Hello, I'm Joshua Slocum, and I'm having tech trouble naturally. Jess, do you have? No, you're not on the stage, so it can't be you.
I mean, I am, but I'm not actually on the screen. I don't know how that happened, but it's kind of cool. I'm like secret background
on.
voice.
There we go. Okay. Did that work?
It worked.
Hello, everyone in Streamland. I've got 4 tabs open, and I'm trying to figure out why I've got 16 reverberating echoes of the same audio stream. This is why I needed Kevin, you see. I can't. I'm incompetent to do this. I'm just a girl.
You're supposed to mute your auto start tabs, Josh.
Yeah, shut up. Shut up, okay? No, you.
No, you.
Welcome, everybody, to Disaffected Live. I am Joshua Slocum. It is Thursday, April 2nd, 2026, and we're going to talk about some stuff with you this evening. I hope we're going out to everybody. Are we going out on Twitter? Can you see?
Twitter, I haven't
gonna
confirmed
check.
yet. Hold on, let me grab that.
Yeah, sorry, everybody. You have to watch the production stuff that's supposed to happen behind the scenes, too.
Yep, we're
It
live.
looks like we're live. Okay, awesome. Here we go. Yeah, you know what's weird about this? I'm not seeing, maybe the way I've set it up, at least we're going out, but just so you guys know, and you too, Jess, usually I can see in my StreamYard interface, I can see the comments that come up. I don't see any comments today, so I'm not seeing anything from YouTube, Twitter, or Rumble. So the only thing is I'm going to see are the things that oh, Jesse's not seeing them either. Okay.
But I can see them in the live chat themselves.
Okay.
So I'm making sure I set everything to like.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I miss a comment, guys, especially if it's one that you pay for, I'm sorry, we're doing our best, but I don't have that feed in my background today. So I'll have to check that for next week. All right. So we've got a few things on the agenda. Let's talk first about the recent Supreme Court decision. I'm going to do a more polished version, of course, on Sunday for the show. But I printed out and read the Supreme Court decision last night that overturned excuse me, Colorado's law banning so-called conversion therapy. Now, let's rewind a little bit and talk about what conversion therapy allegedly really is compared to what this is now. So, the term conversion therapy was applied, I think the first time I heard of this was during the 90s when gay rights, homosexual rights were a big topic. This was way before anybody, it hadn't occurred to anybody that you could strap on fake tits and call yourself a woman and that other people would have to actually say, yes, you're literally a woman. None of us would have believed that. None of us would have believed it.
Nope. None
of you would have believed it either. But nevertheless, that's what happened. So gay conversion therapy. And I'm doing this, right? I'm putting air quotes around things because I think there's an idea among many people today that this was a common form of torture that gay people were subjected to. And it's not. That was never true. It's not true today, and it was never historically true, right? There were, of course, some practitioners, a few, of a small minority of really intense, usually fundamentalist Christian counselors who would do things called aversion, not conversion, aversion therapy, meaning make you averse to something, and would do things like show gay men who wanted to change their sexual orientation, show them erotica with men, and give them electric shocks, to make an association of, I don't like this. If you think you know a bunch of people that happened to, you don't. You don't. I mean, it because it just wasn't ever widespread. I have never in my life, I have known hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gay men. Some were my friends, some were my lovers, many were social acquaintances. I have never come across a single gay man in my own personal life who ever experienced anything like that. It simply was not common. But, to the extent that we disapprove of such practices, fine. But that's not what they're talking about when we talk about conversion therapy today. The left as they do with everything, has completely reversed the meanings. Black is white, up is down, pretty is ugly, truth is a lie, etc., etc. They are calling the act of not affirming a delusion, so not agreeing with a boy who says that he's a girl, not agreeing with a girl who says that she's a boy. They were calling that disagreement conversion therapy. You're trying to make them not trans. You're trying to convert them to a non-trans person. It's absurd on every level, but we have to get right down to the basics. The base unspoken assumption that you're supposed to just swallow is that there really is a state of being, a way of being a human that is essentially transgender, that it's inside you. They are transgender, and you're trying to make them not transgender, so you're trying to convert them. No, there's no such state as being transgender. There's no human being on Earth. There never was such a human being, and there can't even in theory ever be such a human being. There's no such state called I'm not the sex that I am. Right? That is literally a logical contradiction. The logic principle of A is not A, right?
Right.
We're down at this really basic fucking level here.
Yeah, they really bring it there.
Not A. Right? Because if it's not A, then it's not A, right? There's no such thing as being transgender because you can't be a female who's actually a male. Right?
Nope. I'll go ahead and strongman your argument.
Okay.
There will be those that are ready, willing, and able to pull out the androgen insensitivity card. Have you heard of this?
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm not talking about disorders of sexual development or hormonal disorders. In people who are in fact still asex, even if they have a disorder of sexual development, they're still either male or female. There is no such thing as hermaphroditism in humans. It's not real. It's not biologically possible. Right? So Colorado, I don't know what the hell happened to that state. They've gone absolutely insane.
No, they turned on the weed and all the crazy came out too.
Well, Colorado put in a law preventing therapists from engaging in what they called conversion therapy with minors, meaning if you had a 16-year-old boy who came in and said, I'm a girl, I'm a trans girl, if you actually said, no, actually you are a male, let's talk about making you comfortable with being a male, even if that means a male who expresses himself in a feminine way. That was illegal. That was called conversion therapy. You couldn't even acknowledge that male's actual biological sex. You were not allowed to say that. I mean, so the Supreme Court just overturned that, and I want to check. I'm going to check before this weekend and make sure that I understand this correctly. But I'm reasonably familiar with Supreme Court practice. This was part of my job for a long time, and I'm I'm above average in understanding court opinions and statutory construction. So I believe, but can't absolutely confirm, that this means because Colorado's law was overturned, this invalidates all such laws across the country. No state is allowed to yank a practitioner's license because she acknowledges that the girl in front of her is a girl. So I think that this has just wiped the slate across the country. Thank God. I admit that I'm surprised. I suppose I'm not. I'm pleased. I'm very pleased, but I don't count on anything anymore. I don't, and I don't count on conservatives anymore either. Unfortunately, many people who call themselves conservatives these days are not, in fact, conservatives. They are liberals. They're even to the left of people who were liberals in the 90s. Look at how many people on the right have, well, let's take homosexuality, for example. In just a few short years, happened between 2010 and 2014, 2015. The majority opinion shifted entirely on the right. Gay marriage, gay marriage, gay marriage. Right? So I'm surprised that even a conservative court would rule this way. But what's even more surprising is it was an 8-1 decision. 8-1.
It's pretty
That
big.
means that even the liberal women on this court, with the exception of Jumanji Brown Jackson, even they agreed. This was I knew you were going to get it in a second.
It took me a sec. Sorry. Jumanji Brown Jackson. Right. I forgot.
Even Kagan and Sotomayor is dumb as a post. I can't. They're running neck and neck. Her and Jumanji are they're so stupid that I think they're probably borderline retarded. But even Kagan and Sotomayor agreed with this. I pulled out a couple of quotes for you here.
Oh boy. I love
this is
retard
from the
quotes.
majority opinion. I have not yet read Jumanji's dissent, and I haven't yet read the concurrences of Gorsuch and the third one who did. So this is in the opinion. They're talking about the named plaintiff was a Ms. Childs. She's a licensed therapist in Colorado who sued to overturn this law and has won. So that's who they're referring to when they say she and her. Nor does her speech, that is the speech that she does as therapeutic practice, nor does her speech become conduct. Actually, let me back up a little bit. The state of Colorado was trying to defend this by saying, oh, no, it's not a First Amendment violation. We're not regulating speech. We're regulating conduct. And how did they do that? Well, they turned speech into conduct. They said her speech acts were therapeutic conduct. So therefore, we can regulate this just like we can regulate the conduct in every other regulated business. It's not speech, it's conduct, right? Word games. That's all the left has is word games. So the court writes, nor does her speech become conduct just because it can also be described as a treatment, a therapeutic modality, or anything else. The First Amendment is no word game, and the rights it protects cannot be renamed away or their protections nullified by mere labels. Oh, send that straight into my veins. Pure step-by-step logic.
Like somebody actually says it out loud. You cannot rename or give a new meaning to words in
Yep.
order to suit your need to change this. It's
Yeah.
like,
Well,
everybody.
it's amazing. We need more of this because that is how the left has done what it's done. Word games. They literally simply play word games.
yep.
And they know it's like that adage about we're all using the same words, but we're not using the same dictionary. So what apple means to me is totally different from what apple means to you. That's the left. They know that if they say the word apple, that almost everyone listening to them thinks they mean the fruit that they mean when they use the word apple, but they don't. They mean pineapple or orange. And then when you call them on it and you say, you're wrongfully labeling an orange an apple, they go, bigot. Right?
Well, I like the comment that Skakaka put in our Rumble chat. Speech
Okay.
conduct makes sense to them if they view speech as violence. So speech equals
Yes.
conduct makes sense if that's what they view.
Exactly right. That they have to believe that if they're going to make ridiculous claims like, she spoke violently to me. I don't know about you guys, but I haven't heard that formulation as much in the past 4 to 6 months, but it was everywhere for years.
Mhm.
Violent speech, violent words, violent ideas. We heard that constantly. I'm hearing it less. I hope that's an indication that the game is wearing off and that people just aren't going to play this anymore.
That'd be nice.
But I did get a little bit into Elena Kagan's concurring opinion. I'll have more for you guys this weekend. It's on Sunday at 9, but I wanted to pull from a footnote because this is the second time I've read a split opinion on this court where one of the liberal justices it just savaging Ketanji Brown Jackson. And you won't necessarily know it unless you understand the kind of language that the court uses. They're not going to come right out and call each other stupid. They maintain a high level of verbal decorum, but these are fighting words. This is basically Elena Kagan saying you are a stupid fucking cow. So let me read her footnote to you. Justice Jackson's dissenting opinion claims that this is a small or even non-existent category. And what she's referring to is the state was claiming, and Justice Jackson was, that there were very, very just teeny tiny little bits of things that we're regulating. This almost never comes up in therapy. This is not broad and sweeping, blah, 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 blah. So Kagan, Justice Jackson's dissenting opinion claims that this is a small or even non-existent category. But even her own opinion, when listing laws supposedly put at risk today, offers quite a few examples. Her view to the contrary rests on, here, listen to it, you can hear it. Her view to the contrary rests on reimagining and in that way collapsing the well-settled distinction between viewpoint-based and other content-based speech restrictions. She's going right for that bitch's gut. She used the word reimagining on purpose. We're going to reimagine what it means to be a woman. We're going to reimagine what it'd be like to live in a non-settler colonial space. She just used the word right against her. This is Elena Kagan saying, you are a stupid bitch.
In a really nice reimagined way.
You know what? Vermont's already in a kerfuffle over this. I saw
that's
reference.
A word people don't use anymore. Kerfuffle. Thank you.
Yeah, it's old fashioned. I'm old.
What shenanigans?
Vermont, I already saw some reference in some of our local progressive media to lawmakers like, we need to get back in session and find a way to, stop children from being harmed in the context of the Supreme Court. Well, you're not going to be able to, because I'm sorry, bitches, you can't do what you want to do. It's illegal. Court said so. So, sorry, court said.
When I moved to Vermont, I'm going to get a yard sign that says, sorry, bitches.
I know, you can't do that. But Vermont has such an anti-conversion therapy law, which of course was also overturned by the Supreme Court decision. Oh, so delicious. I should tease and needle Vermont lawmakers more on Twitter. Remind me to do that, Jess, if I forget. I really want to rub their noses in it. Just grind them in it.
Yeah.
But I was talking about this with my therapist, oh God, like 4 or 5 years ago. Technically, under Vermont state law, the kinds of conversations I was having with my therapist were illegal. He was violating Vermont state law. because we were talking about things like, is it possible to change sexual? I mean, I'm not trying to change my sexual orientation. I don't think it's possible. It is
No,
what it
I'm
is.
sorry,
But
you're doomed.
yeah, I'm doomed. The gay is so crusted on now. It's like, it's like when you have a baking dish that you've used for like 30 years and there's this carbonized
You're not going to get that black part
brown
out
shit
of
on
me.
there. I'm just full of it. I'm full of it. It's crusted on. It's not going to come out. Even oven cleaner's not going to take. It's not going to take it off. But it's just amazing, because any one of my therapist patients, if they got themselves in a snit, could have very easily filed a complaint with the state licensing board and had him delicensed simply for talking about these things. You want to talk about no kings, no fascists? Again, it's just reversal, you guys. This is the left. The left is just projecting everything they do onto the right so they can get away with it.
Exactly.
What do you think, Jess? Got any other angle on this?
Well, I find the whole thing, I never understood the conversion therapy. I remember when I was young and they enacted this, and made sure to say that conversion therapy was awful in all manner of ways in the news. And one particular thing I recall, and of course I was too young to even remember details, was that the Mormon community was that's who they were strong arming with this, I think.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I think that it was Mormons, and they were being thrown under the bus for all manner of reasons, like polygamy and that kind of stuff was getting them in trouble. Yeah. And on top of that, they were converting their gay kids. So,
okay.
I think that's where it started. I don't know that I'm correct about that, but I do remember articles or things in the news about that.
Yeah, you're right. Now that you say it, I do remember that. I think there was some attention paid to specifically Mormon religious counseling practices. I just don't recall the details.
And their morals were being questioned all over the media. So when that it was like low-hanging fruit. It was the one thing they could go ahead and easily tackle these things. If they were going to attack a religious community in any way, shape, or form, these would be the easy things to do. But conversion therapy, I'm sorry, you can't be born trans. And their very argument about there being 80 million genders and you can just say which one you are and that's how you become it. Well, babies don't even speak, right? So you can't be born trans.
They went that far though. One of the big proponents of kitty transgenderism, Diane Arensraft.
Oh, kitty trans. That's such a good term. What's her name?
Diane Arensraft. It's EHRENSRAFT. She is an evil woman. You guys may want to look her up. She was one of the big movers and shakers at the World Professional Association for Transgender Health, or WPATH, which labeled itself the world's leading medical organization for trans health. But it was and was taken seriously and was used as the basis and consultants for these laws. Is literally nothing but perverts and child abusers. They were making up their standards of care based on. I shit you not, go behind me and check it out. A lot of the people involved with them were pornographic fetishists who maintained archives of erotica about what they called nullification, which is desexing people by cutting their gender. They had a eunuch fetish. They had castration fetishes, sexual fetishes. These were the people who were talking about helping children. So Diane Arensraft was a part of that. And she goes back a long ways. Diane Arensraft was involved in the satanic panic and multiple personality disorder scandals of the late
Oh, it
80s and
all
early
comes full
90s. She was
circle.
there too. You see? You see? It's all the
Yep.
same shit.
It's all the same people with the same screams about this shit, and it's just
Yep.
this twist.
But she was one. You can find her on video saying that, yes, babies can be born transgender, and you can know that before they speak because they send what she calls gender messages. What was a gender message? If a little girl, a little baby girl with a little tuft of hair, had a barrette in her hair and she didn't like it, she was trying to pulling out. I shit you not. This woman said this. She was sending a gender message. She was saying, I'm not a girl. Right out in public, right out on a stage, she would say things like this. And
But
people
what if she was
still
saying, I'm a
took her
queen and you
seriously.
did my hair bad?
Yeah.
I mean, they're converting her right then and there into a boy, but she
Yep.
could just be a total princess.
Yep.
Jeez. I mean,
I'm going to read a few of these. I'm going to read a few of these chats. Thank you guys for thank you for the financial support. Eric's got a couple here, $10 and $10. Thank you, Eric Rader. I appreciate that. Eric says, Josh, wanting your opinion, the neurodiversity movement lost the plot when they were called out for bringing in people with cluster B and personality disorders who pose a threat to autistic people. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I'm seeing it all over the place, and Eric and I are talking by email. I'm busy right now, but eventually we're going to get an audio show together where we talk about this issue. Yes, I'm afraid that people with actual autism are you're in danger now because the people running your social movement are in fact narcissists. They're cluster Bs. I'm seeing it all over the place. Obvious borderline and narcissistic and histrionic personality people are calling themselves neurodivergent and autistic. It's the new sympathy misdiagnosis, just as almost all the borderlines were claiming that they had bipolar manic depression, not borderline personality disorder. That's what people are now believing, that these manipulative, absolute fucking exploitative wrecks, well, they just have autism. They just don't know. Eric also said, wanting to add, neurodiversity also goes against the parents of autistic children and adults when they start worrying what to do when the parents can no longer provide care due to aging. Interesting. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but I really question the very label neurodiversity and neurodivergent to me is a cluster B red flag in and of itself. This is trying to make an identity category out of something that should not be thought of that way. You have autism or you don't. Then they got rid of the distinction of Asperger's syndrome, and now they're calling kids who fit the label of Asperger's, they're saying they're on the autism spectrum. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but a quirky kid with a quirky personality and some stimming behaviors is not in the same category as right? That's not a spectrum. That's not a real spectrum. There's real autism, and then there's other things. You may have difficulties, but those difficulties, that's like saying that somebody who has, I guess the average IQ is 100. So you say that somebody who's hovering around 98, 99 is mentally retarded. No, they're not. They're a little bit slow, but they're not in the same bucket category as, right? It's a category error.
Level, yeah. I mean,
the Riv 132. Hi, Riv. She says, as an ex-Mormon, I can attest that they've been infiltrated, and Utah is way more lefty than people realize. Yeah, I think we're seeing that. I've been shocked. I've been shocked at how much purchase some of these absurd utopian leftist nightmare ideas have taken hold with practicing Mormons. Sage 501. Hello, Sage. $5. Thank you. She says, the violent speech social campaign accomplished its goal. If words are violence, then actual violence becomes an act of self-defense. Good point. That's how the left no longer tries to distance itself from savagery. Absolutely good point. They do it right out in the open. That's exactly how they justified somebody like Luigi Mangione murdering Bryon. Forgive me, I forget his name. Bryon, the CEO of United Healthcare, right there on the street at 6 a.m. in Manhattan. It was an act of self-defense because violent words, violent thoughts. Eric also, again, another $10. Thank you, Eric. I just want to say neurodiversity, it's brought in people who hide behind child abuse. Narcissists masquerading as autistic people suddenly discovered they're autistic. Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
I would go a little further, and I would say that much of what I am seeing, behaviors described in children that are now being called autistic and ADHD, these are from narcissistic abuse from parents. They're not autistic. They have trauma, literal trauma. They've been neglected and abused. And just like kids get sent to jail, like Jesse and I both got institutionalized as teenagers because of our mother's sins, they're deflecting their abusive parenting style onto their children and saying they have an inborn neurological condition. Nice, huh? And who gets away with it most? Mommy.
Every time.
Yep.
We've got the fox, so cunning and free. She's
so cunning, so free.
Cunning. Something that the majority touches on is that under this Colorado law, therapists cannot treat detransitioners.
He's right, because it only went in one direction. You could not affirm the biological reality of a child. So therefore, if somebody came to you and said, I want to stop being trans, you were barred by law from doing it. You could not help them. You guys, you see this as deliberate, right? This is just evil. It's simply brazen evil that doesn't even try to hide itself. We are going to have your children. We're going to take their genitals. We're going to take their sanity, and you can't stop us. Fuck you. That's what this is. The most wicked, evil people behind this stuff.
All while they, attempt to overturn, a parent's ability to protect their own child.
Yeah.
By allowing
and many states have successfully done so, like teachers they can't tell parents because it's unsafe. It's unsafe if the parent doesn't like the gender identity. It's this perverse combination of romper room preschool emotionality along with very adult evil. It's so disturbing. Let's talk about some. Well, I suppose this is in the realm of gender. Let's back us off a little bit here. Oh, whoopsie doodle. There we go. Look at our nice scintillating background.
Coffee. I hope you all have your cups.
Did you guys hear about what's going on with former Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's husband, Bryon? Yeah. Well.
Solicious.
I'm going to show you.
Woman. Oh dear.
Let me preface this. I have to clear this away. This is a part of our new normal now. You have to do this isn't AI disclosure all the time now. This is not AI. It's not Photoshop. It's not made up. It is actually real. Yes, I checked. Yes, you can confirm for yourself too. And honestly, if you're going to say I'm getting a little tired of that from people who ought to know better. You all live in the same world that I do. You have seen the insanity. Why are you still shocked? Why are you still jumping to, that's AI, that can't be real? Why do you think these things can't be real? Have you not seen enough yet to know where we are?
I don't think we want to see more.
Oh, we're going to see more, and we're going to see it right now.
Oh, boy.
So, feast your eyes on that, baby.
No.
This is from that picture you're seeing on the left-hand side of that picture. That is Bryon, Bryon. That's a red flag, first of all. I'm sorry. I don't believe he's like 54 years old. I don't believe 54 years ago his parents spelled his name that way. I think he did it himself. I think he changed the spelling himself. You are seeing him wearing great big ginormous fake tits with strange. Now, I'm not an expert on the female anatomy, as you know.
What are
but
those?
Isn't that a strange place for nipples?
Well, one's a little.
Aren't they a little high?
Yeah, I think his balloons are blown up and misaligned.
I saw somebody did a little I should have grabbed the alteration of that where they made them point in different directions. Like when you draw a picture of somebody, you're trying to make them look crazy, so you make their pupils go in
with
different
their
directions.
retard
The
eyeballs.
nipples were like you lift it up, there's like 3 on the underside.
Oh, extras, just in case.
so, so New York Post headline, what is bimbofication? Have you guys heard of bimbofication?
Well, I hadn't till last week. Thanks, Bryon.
Okay, it's a thing. It's been a thing for a while. It's a fetish, and both men and women are. I mean, the men are mainly into it, but there are plenty of chicks who will play along with this. The fetish is, I'm just gonna be a stupid bimbo. I'm just a hole for sex. I'm sorry to be vulgar, but that's literally what this is. I'm just daddy's little slut, right? So. Bryon has a cross-dressing fetish. He's been sitting behind his computer wearing that those rubber breasticles, and chatting with chatting with online prostitutes, basically. Now, I was talking about this with Kevin, who had not heard of any of this, and I got to educate him earlier.
Oh dear.
And he asked a good question. If you're a guy, you're a straight guy, and your fetish is women with huge tits who are quote unquote bimbos, okay, we can understand that. Even if we don't like it, we can understand it. Why do you, the man, want the bimbo tits on you? I don't have any insight.
I don't know.
Is this just straight up? Is this just another form of autogynephilia? You know, getting sexually aroused by seeing yourself as a woman. Is that what this is?
I think one of the texts in this exchange where this picture came out, he asked, "Should I put the leggings on?"
I don't know, girl, but you should definitely put the lotion in the basket.
I mean, put the fucking leggings on.
Put the fucking leggings on your legs. Precious.
Oh. Yeah, no. Bryon's got problems. I mean, you know, his wife, God bless her, worked her hardest to beautify her and bimbo herself. Frankly.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, Jess and I were talking about this beforehand. I have mixed feelings about this. I do have some personal sympathy for Kristi Noem and her family.
Me too.
This kind of humiliation. It's bad enough to have to deal with this in your husband, but to have the whole world. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for talking about something that's out in public. I'm not doing something to Kristi Noem and her family by talking about this. Her husband is who did something to Kristi Noem and her family. Mm-hmm. But it's awful to have this, to be humiliated in front of the world this way. This is the one thing you hope to God to keep private. So I just do have some human sympathy for her and for her children, most of all. But honestly, I have a hard time. I don't know. Of course I don't know, but I have a hard time believing that Kristi didn't have any suspicions about this going on. I don't think either of them made very good choices in their personal life. I'm sorry. I made fun of Kristi Noem on the show several times, and quite properly, because this is a woman who, again, is in her 50s, who got tapped to head up Homeland Security, and all of a sudden went to the plastic surgeon, got work done, got trout pout lips, and wears whore makeup. Yes, whore makeup. Huge, big drag queen whore makeup with her hair and her cute, like form-fitting jeans, as she's standing by a goddamn lectern as the head of Homeland Security. Completely inappropriate. The woman, Jesse's right, she did bimbo herself. This is considered respectable by professional women now.
Yeah, I would assume that her goal was to keep her husband interested. I'm sure she wonders why he wasn't.
Maybe. But even if that was the case, save it for home. Save it for the bedroom. Don't go out in public this way. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I will not.
Well, he didn't, technically this was leaked. None of this was done in
Right. I'm talking about Kristi.
Yeah. Well,
right? Like she could have done all those things. You know, she felt like she needed to sex herself up to keep the spice in her marriage. That's something that should only, you know, but the fact that it was spilling, I'm sorry, I cannot and will not take women seriously in positions of power when they tart themselves up like prostitutes and being, you know, in their mid 50s trying to look like some nightclub slut.
well,
You
her
know, and
hoops
there's way
were
too many
bigger
of them
than her
doing it.
gun. So, I mean, I was like,
well, speaking of which, we've got more. Let me give you a little bit more here.
oh, do we have more? Oh, yeah. Here's another.
Yeah, we do.
There's them
This is
leggings.
real. There's he put the leggings
He
on.
put the leggings on this kid.
He put the leggings on and the big breasts. Look at him. Look at him in the mirror. He's like, Here, let me do it. Here, let me do it for you guys and
get
really
up
go
in there.
shop. Is this? Do you like? Is this sexy?
Mhm. This is sexy. Yep. You're
So
winning
disgusting.
awards over here, buddy. Can we get an amen?
I mean, come on. Bathroom
So
selfies
ridiculous.
and trout pout with fake tits on.
And you know he's stealing his wife's clothes to do it.
Yeah. I think he does have autogynephilia too, because I'm not going to show this one, but there's another picture in this series of bathroom selfies where he stuck the camera up under his butt in those leggings to get like a butt shot.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm also sorry to say he has a really nice ass. Sorry, I'm a pig.
You are,
Just-
because this man is fucking lost.
Just I don't want to see the front.
Don't worry, we'll pop him.
Let's do a quote from the Daily Mail story about this. Because nobody can write salacious copy like the Daily Mail. Kristi Noem's husband is today revealed as a secret cross-dresser who dons gigantic fake breasts and pink hot pants to chat with online fetish models. While his wife has operated at the highest echelons of government, handling matters of national security in her recent role as Department of Homeland Security Secretary, Bryon Noem, 56, has been dressing up and paying adult entertainers to talk dirty. The Daily Mail has reviewed hundreds of messages involving 3 women from the bimbofication scene, where porn performers transformed themselves into real-life Barbie dolls by pumping colossal amounts of saline into their breasts. Bryon has lavished praise on their surgically enhanced bodies, confessed his lust for, quote, huge, ridiculous boobs, and even made indiscreet remarks about his 34-year marriage to former Homeland Security Secretary Kristi, our investigation can exclusively disclose. I just got to jump in here about the British. You guys, here's my impression of being an Englishman. It was massive. Everything you guys say, you're always saying that. Massive investment. It was a massive investment. And you're always saying that you can reveal things. The Mail can reveal. Let's finish it out. National security experts consulted by the Daily Mail say his brazen behavior could have left the 54. Oh, well, they can't even get there. Is he 54 or 56? Could have left the 54-year-old MAGA favorite. Oh, they're talking about Kristi, who oversaw ICE's aggressive crackdown until she was removed from her position on March 5th, vulnerable to blackmail. Well, yeah, but that ship has sailed now, isn't it? Ain't nothing left to blackmail him with.
Yep. It's in a position like that, you can't be vulnerable. And they would have removed her as a matter of policy because of his behavior alone.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, that may in fact be part of why she was removed from her position. They may have known that this compromise was going to come out.
They explicitly stated it. She was
they did?
removed. They did. She was removed because she would be not only blindsided by what she found out, but because it then made her accessible to blackmail, and there was no way to fight it. So they'll do that. When you have a security clearance like that, they'll just take you out.
Well, you guys.
Uh-oh. Oh, dear. You bimbo. We have some comments. Do you want to read some comments?
Are any of them from my daddy?
Maybe. George is here.
Oh, not her. I love you, George. Brandon Showalter. Hi, Brandon. Thanks for showing up. $9.99. Yes, act now. Supplies are limited. $9.99. The other huge word game is calling people who oppose anyone trying to queerify everything, calling them white nationalists. Yes, exactly. Happened to my parents' Mennonite pastor. Fascinating. Huh. Oh, Brandon, I did not know I of course I know you're a Christian, but I didn't know that your heritage was Mennonite. That's interesting. We should talk about that sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about that.
Elliot Wade says maybe they doubt their ability to relate or their tendency to only objectify. Maybe it's an attempt to connect in a strange way. If you mean the wearing the tits.
Yeah, I think that was about
maybe
wearing the female figure, and yeah.
You guys, you remember that teacher from Canada? It's about 2 years ago now. The shop teacher who suddenly said he was a trans woman, and he came in with wearing one of those breast forms, but that like literally the breasts were so pendulous they hung down below his crotch line.
Mm-hmm. In a shop class, mind you.
In shop class, next to the woodworking, right?
Yeah. Like the woodworking on the table, not the woodworking in his pants.
What was the name? Jess, you might remember this. 70s porn star, like burlesque porn star, Chesty somebody. She was one of the first women to get ridiculously huge breast implants. Chesty. I want to say like Chesty McSomething.
Malone?
I've got to figure this out.
Come on, chat. We're gonna need you. 1970s porn star Chesty
Morgan.
Morgan, not Malone.
And do you know how I know that? That comes from the site boobpedia.com.
Like boob Wikipedia? Boobpedia?
Yeah. Chesty Morgan. Chesty Morgan is a retired exotic dancer and exploitation film actress of Polish Jewish birth who was active during the 70s and 80s. Yep.
Homeland OnlyFans. I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat.
Homeland OnlyFans.
CB75 Homeland OnlyFans. Oh my goodness.
Jeannie Gold, $9.99. Thank you very much, darling. Gyno automatopoeia.
Thank you, George.
Oh my God.
Oh, I think we have I think there were a couple of more above that. The majority touches on,
Riv, yeah. 132, $10. Thank you, ma'am. And I'll more, she says, Mormonism prime. Guys, I'm tired today. I was telling Jess before we started, I could have stayed in bed with the cats all day and never woken up.
We feel so lazy.
I am so logy. The Rib says, Mormonism primes brains to be susceptible to joining cults. I know it happened to me after leaving Mormonism. So they bend with the wind, however it blows. The lefty woo-woo winds gust strongly. Interesting point. Thanks for pointing that out. If you don't mind, I'm actually curious, when you left Mormonism, what cult behavior or ideology did you fall into? And you don't have to pay again to answer the question, obviously. Yeah, but I am curious if you want to share that with us.
Yeah.
And Fox So Cunning and Free once again, $3. I'm actually I'm a $3 hoe this week. Something that the majority touches on is that under this Colorado, yes, therapists cannot treat detransitioners. Just wanted to make sure I got your comment in there, but we did touch on that. Thank you. There's one more. There's one more here. This is an actual picture of Bruce Springsteen after Bryon Noem tit snatched him. So
I was gonna say, what the fuck happened to him?
I know. This picture is actually a couple years old now. And people correctly said that he looks like that that unpleasant soccer dyke, Megan Rapinoe. Does he not?
Yeah, he does actually.
Have you guys heard his horrible, stupid anti-ICE song? They killed Renee Good and they killed Alex Pretty. Oh, it's so bad.
Oh,
Blood in
no.
the streets.
He used to have something, you know, and now he's got.
I know. It's. I'm so sorry about this because you know what? One of my cherished memories of the 1980s, and I have many of them, was staring longingly at Bruce Springsteen's Levi's covered ass facing the camera on the cover art for the Born in the USA album. I just looked at that.
We were all born in the USA then.
Oh. What happened to you?
I don't know.
Probably nothing. I'm sure they're all douchetards. All of them. Fucking like every single star, actor, actress, musician, stage performer, everybody that I really liked from the 20th century. You know, the last gasp of real stardom, you know, the Michael Jacksons and Madonnas and Bruce Springsteens and Cyndi Laupers of the world. Every single one of them is a moral piece of shit. Not a single one of them has turned out to be a decent person. They're all horrible. All of them. I don't
get it.
Meryl Streep is on TV yesterday talking about she's upset about the SAVE Act, the attempt by the Republicans to make everyone have photo ID to vote. Meryl fucking Streep. I'm sorry. I don't believe she's as dumb as she pretends to be, but she's talking about how terrible it is because married women will suddenly be she's actually saying that married women will be disenfranchised by this law. This
is just patently untrue.
Yeah. Why? Well, because they had to change their names and like they'll have to prove that it's their married name or some shit. Like, what are you talking about?
No,
what are you talking about?
How it works.
Jesse, you're a married woman who took your husband's last name. Have you ever in your life been questioned when you handed over your license that said Jess Ann Seeley?
Never. No.
But it's just
they'll even accept an alias. Did you know that you can list an alias on your birth certificate, on your photo ID?
What kind of which, like your driver's license?
Yeah, they don't actually put it on the license, but they'll put it in the system. So my name is Jessie Ann, but I go by Jess Ann so often that I had them put that in the system.
Oh, well, I can understand, like, if they've got a field in their system so that if there's any question, they've got a reference and they know that that's tied to that person.
Right.
That seems to be a reasonable thing to do. So but they're not going to print it. They're not going to print it on your ID.
That perhaps your maiden name is also there. Oh, and I'm sorry.
But they're not going to know that you even have a maiden name unless you tell them because your married name is your legal last name. That's what happens when you get married on the marriage certificate. That makes it your legal name. That's your name change. It's already done. You don't have to go back and reprove it.
Nope.
Anything to be a victim.
They're going to know who you are in every single circumstance. There is no circumstance in which that is true.
Dumb.
Not to mention, if you're too much of an idiot to have a birth certificate or a social security card or a marriage license or any one of those things, you don't belong in a voting booth. You fucking idiot.
Exactly. Well, it's like Matt Walsh says, if you are stupid enough that this poses a barrier for you, I am glad that it poses a barrier. I don't want you voting. And I agree with him. I don't want you voting.
No.
I'm not joining any goddamn voter registration drives. I don't want more people voting. I want significantly fewer people voting. Yeah. Stupid people.
It's
leeches.
Clearly shown that mail-in voting was a disaster. Now, see, I've used it and needed it when I couldn't leave the house. I used it to vote for Trump. You know.
Yep.
Happily.
You repurposed it. You upscaled.
I did. Well, I upscaled it. Yeah.
You upcycled, or your mail-in voting.
I like to make things that are old and yucky better. So I voted for Trump.
Come work on me.
For home, from home, with my mail-in ballot. But I'm sorry, if Joe Biden got 20 million more votes than the average Democrat over the last, I don't know, 10, 15 elections, it was such a huge jump that I'm sorry, those idiots don't deserve ballots. And it just proves that they're not disenfranchised. They're disincentivized to go vote because it is harder. And when it's harder and you have to get up and you have to leave work or you have to leave your goddamn couch and put down the fucking, pork rinds, put down the pork rinds, leave your couch and go vote. This isn't going to happen. But 20 million more people were able to vote because of mail-in voting. Whether or not any of it,
that's a disaster. That is a disaster.
It's a massive disaster. Those are the very people that want to keep us back in this mentality where everyone's a victim. And I'm sorry, but they don't deserve it.
Absolutely. I'm just going over I'm looking through the comments here. I got a couple to catch up on.
Yeah. There's some great stuff in there. People are yakking it up.
Ellen sent me $2 and she says, here's a tip for last night. Darnarvian. Love, Keisha. There ain't no Darnarvian here. I'm Quintavious.
Last night? Darn.
Wouldn't you like to know?
You and Keisha.
I was showing Ellen my big Unnaturals.
Did you put the leggings on?
No, that's an additional $2.
Oh, pay up, Ellen.
I know. Next time I'll be like, welcome to Burger Queen. Can I take your order? And she'll be like, yeah, I want 2 big Unnaturals. And I'll be like, would you like to make that a meal with leggings and high heels for $2 more?
That's a whole meal.
Here's a tip for last night. You know what? I should get this. I should remember to get this and play it for you next week. Do you guys remember, you old people along with me, do you remember bitch tracks and diss tracks from house music?
No.
It was...
Oh, diss tracks.
Yeah, but bitch tracks were a particular flavor of this. So this was popular in the late 80s through the early 90s in the gay club house music scene. Drag queens would do these filthy comedy songs, like house songs. So there was one drag queen called you see, I'll do the impression. Maybe somebody will remember this. My name is Sweet Pussy Pauline, and I've got a story to share with you this evening. Is it okay? And so she'd tell these stories. Basically, it was a hooker, and would tell these stories about all these little dick men trying to come up in here and mess with me and all this stuff. And she was complaining about the little dick men who were, this motherfucker, the littlest dick you ever seen in your motherfucking life. He had the unmitigated gall, girl, to look into my pretty brown eyes and say, am I hurting you? And I was like, hurting me? Motherfucker, you are tickling me. Get the fuck up off me, leave the coins on the dresser, and hit the door. I don't have to put up with that shit.
Yeah. Gee. George is in the comments going crazy.
Fox So Cunning and Free, $3. Always remember and never forget, Hollywood's times Time's Up movement was giving advice to Cuomo when he was facing sexual harassment charges. These people are scum. Yes, they are. Yep. Genie Gold again, another $10. Woo. I'm gonna buy myself a new sequin bra and panties. He says, huge milkers, giant jugs, big udders. He's doing a quote. He's doing a quote from Female Trouble, the John Waters film, where Divine plays both Dawn Davenport, the criminal schoolgirl, and Earl Peterson, her father. So Divine plays both roles. And no, not her father. The guy who fucked her on a mattress at the city dump on Christmas morning.
I don't think I've seen this one.
So Dawn Davenport, criminal schoolgirl, like goes off into a life of crime and hitchhikes away from her parents' house. And Divine is also playing the guy who picks her up. She's hitchhiking down the road, and he drives up in this big, like, late 50s Cadillac.
Oh, no.
And he's like, get in, sugar dumpling. And so Divine gets in, and then they cut to a scene, like, at the dump with like, an old, like, shit-stained mattress on the side of the road. And there's a sex scene, and Divine's all like, and gets pregnant. And so then she goes after Earl Peterson for alimony. This is Dawn Davenport. Dawn Davenport. You made love to me Christmas morning. Well, I'm pregnant and I want money. And he goes, just because you got them big udders don't make you something special. Go fuck yourself. Oh my God.
That sounds like a Christmas movie.
Definitely. I'm sorry, I'm giving you guys some real skank quality stream today. Thanks for sticking with me, I guess.
They pay good money for this shit.
All right. I want to do something. I want to talk a little bit about something a little more serious. I may do more on this on Sunday's show. But I put up an article on Substack, and I want to kind of talk about this, about what I believe is actually, this is not a personality disorder. It's an actual lack of personality itself that I'm seeing among so many Gen Z young people. Not all of them, but yes, this is characteristic of Gen Z generally these days. So I'll read you what I wrote.
Yeah, let's hear it.
We're seeing a new kind of person that we've never seen before, starting with young millennials, but highly characteristic of Gen Z. This new kind of person can only be described as having no personality. And I mean that literally. They actually don't have personalities. They use the exact same vocal intonation. They use the exact same empty, emotive phrases that don't communicate content or ideas. They use the same hand gestures. They don't say anything. They seem like human instantiations of a large language model, an AI. They're programmed with a stereotyped range of responses, but that's all. They don't actually speak to you. You can't prod them into having a personality because they don't have one. They don't even know that they don't have one. Literally, they don't know that they're not normal. This kind of person, this kind of young person doesn't appear to have any actual thoughts. They don't appear to have any real opinions. What they have is affective gestures and responses that are tied to keywords. They respond to prompting with stereotyped responses, not with conversation. Here's a little funny. This I've played this young woman before. She nails this. She parodies it. It's not that far off from the truth. Let's watch it.
So happy we're finally getting lunch. No, because same.
Okay, cool.
The salad is giving. It's giving leaves, it's giving greenery, it's giving tea. That part.
What part?
Just like that part.
What'd you get up to today?
No, because I low-key just bed rotted and doom scrolled.
Oh, all right. I spent the morning writing.
Oh, that's not...
That's not what?
Just like, that's not, yeah. The salad is so good.
Are you all right?
Oh, ooh.
Wow, I haven't seen our waiter in like 30 minutes.
Clock it, clock it,
Clock what?
clock it. I'm skinny. Skinny for this. Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna do a little doom scrolling if you don't mind.
Oh, in the middle of lunch?
No, because yeah. I'm feeling like low-key overstimmy right now, you calling me out, so.
Oh, overstimulated?
Overstimmy, yeah.
Just from us talking?
Oh. My TikTok doctor said that I have a touch of autism, so could you pay for the bill? Thanks.
Why does that mean? Fine.
What the fuck was that? I swear I would probably like, I don't know, smack her or something and try to get it to stop.
Yeah, but no.
I'm going to just say that all the time now. Ooh.
Oh, that part. So that's a good example. That is her comedy is a really good example of what I'm talking about here. They respond to prompts with affective gestures and stereotyped pronunciations and words and phrases and hand gestures.
Oh, interesting comment. Stephanie,
What?
we have an interesting comment here.
Okay, yeah, let's read it out then.
She says, I have 2 teens, and what I'm seeing is that many of them are so afraid of being recorded and posted that they edit everything they say and do, and I have seen some of them destroyed online.
Stephanie, thank you for saying that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's obviously the case. I hadn't thought of that, but that's obviously the case. They must be. Yes. Well, who among us is not? I was thinking about this the other day. You know, I mean, I'm not Gen Z, obviously, but I was walking around downtown and I just had this idea in my head. I don't know where it came from, but I thought, you know, if I wanted to commit a crime, if I wanted to break a shop window or, you know, do something like that, it's just crazy. These random thoughts that come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've probably been on 5 CCTV cameras from the minute I got out of my car on Main Street in Montpelier. There's no such thing anymore as not being recorded. So, yeah, Stephanie is right about this. What a terrible world these kids are growing up in. They can't even, I mean, all the things we did, all the stupid things we did, all the embarrassing things we did, but nobody had phones with video cameras on them. There's not a record of all of our youthful indiscretions that can be held against us.
Yeah, and
these
now
kids have to worry about
forever.
that.
You can never escape it.
Yeah.
Cancel culture taught us that. And then there's those of us who are like, well, we better have less fucks to give and come right on out and say all the ugly things. And that's probably the only other recourse. But yeah, I can see how teenagers these days are. Yeah, that's an interesting, but I think there's something out more to the NPC character development.
Oh, there definitely is. Well, I'll continue. I have a theory about this. So
yeah.
When I was their age, everyone I knew, casually or otherwise, this was just out on the street, everyone I knew had a personality. Becky had a distinct sense of humor. Charlie had a particular way of handling disagreements that was specific to Charlie. Shannon would always voice the minority view if there was contentious debate. They all had personalities. They all had their own voices, and I don't mean that metaphorically, I mean it literally. They had distinctive vocal tonality that Becky sounded like Becky, Shannon sounded like Shannon, Charlie sounded like Charlie. Kids aren't like that anymore. They all sound the same. They're all speaking in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Think about your friends from the 90s, and look at kids today. Do you see the lack of genuine personality, the sameness, the flattening down? And what I'm saying is not motivated by hate. I'm not saying these children are terrible. I'm saying they're extraordinarily damaged. I don't know how to interact with these people. I don't. It's unlike any human interaction I've ever had in my life. I've never encountered this before. I have no idea what to do with it. The best analogy that I can come up with is think of movies you've seen, sci-fi movies that are predicated on first contact with an alien species. Okay. The frustration and the confusion that the main characters have when they're trying to figure out how or whether it's possible to communicate with an alien life form. Do they recognize the same physics that we recognize? Do they recognize the same universal laws? Do they recognize the concept of a binary yes or no? Do they understand the concept of 1 and 0, positive and negative, right? Really basic symbology stuff we have to establish first. Is there a consciousness there? And if there is there a way to communicate with it? That's what it seems like to me. It's like watching one of those movies. And it's really disturbing, and it keeps me up at night to some degree. And here's the most disturbing part. This occurred to me the other day when I was actually, as I was writing this, it sort of clicked for me. Some of you are going to want to push back on this. Please don't push back automatically. Please at least consider it first. This is a form of the feral child. Here's what I'm talking about. Those rare instances, some of you may not know but feral child is actually a term. And it refers to, thankfully, rare cases of extremely abused and neglected children who were, for example, locked in closets during all their formative years by their parents. They weren't allowed to speak to anybody. Parents wouldn't speak to them. They were treated like abused livestock, prevented from having human contact, kept outside in a shed. They weren't allowed actual human interaction during their formative years when you acquire language and socialization. And so they came out at feral, like animals. You know, they once that language acquisition window had closed, they weren't able to learn how to speak. It was all like they've made documentaries about this. There are some famous cases. One of them was a girl named Jeannie. And they made a documentary about it. This is a real phenomenon. We unfortunately have seen the natural experiment. We do know what happens when you deprive children of human socialization in their formative years. That's what's going on with young people today. It is a milder form of feral child syndrome. Mild by comparison, but not mild in the absolute sense. This is quite severe. These communication deficiencies in children are severe. It's not light. It's not just a little bit different. It's huge. I mean, the Gen Z stare that we talk about, when you go into a McDonald's or a Lowe's or a Best Buy and you walk up to a young person and you say, "Hi, could you help me? I'd like a number 4," and you get, how do you communicate with that? They're not giving any signals back to you. They're not giving you signals that they understand what you're talking about. They probably don't mean it, but they're communicating. If they're communicating anything at all, just based on interaction with all other humans I've known, I'm reading hostility, right?
Right.
Maybe it's just confusion. But these kids don't understand. They're communicating contempt and hostility. It is so weird.
Well, they have no, in the same way the feral child has no way of absorbing language in the formative years, they're also not forming facial expressions. They're not getting direct interaction. They're just blanking out on screen. No feedback to their own reactions. So therefore, they don't know how to.
I would love to know, like, if I could, well, I mean, you can't talk to such kids, but I mean, I've heard some people say that that's kind of a public mask that they wear, but if you get them alone, you can actually have a conversation with some of them. And to the extent that that's true, I'd like to know that, because I would genuinely like to ask, do you misunderstand my social cues the way I don't understand anything you're saying? Are you confused by what I'm doing? And I'm serious. What is your perception? Because you're not giving me any signal back. When I say hello, how are you, and I smile at you, are you confused? Are you scared? What's going on here? What are you feeling and thinking? I'd really like to know.
Yeah, I'd like to know too. I know that I have an exception to the rule. My kid is so full of personality, you can barely tamp that shit down. So,
Yep.
I just have no idea. I live in a different world.
Yeah. Well, a lot of his friends must fall into this category. Are the people he goes to school with, or I mean,
No,
no,
they do
they
not.
don't. Okay.
They're actually all so unique. But he's in a really exceptional. I mean, he's in a gifted school,
Okay.
so they don't fall within the norm anyway. Their behaviors are
Right.
awkward right out the box, but but they have them. They don't not have them. You know, even if their personalities are awkward. So no, you can pretty much read them, and they're polite too. Their parents still care to teach them things like please and thank you and excuse
Yeah.
me. But yeah, we've got some interesting comments too. And Stephanie said, I have 2 teens. Oh, afraid of being recorded. Yeah. She added, though, that is what my own kids have told me, that they are very, very cautious about what they post. And
Mhm.
they have to post because if they don't have an online persona, they're ostracized.
This is terrible. And we can't do this to kids.
But we are doing it to kids. The question is, how
This
can
is
we
not
get
their
kids
fault. None
back?
of the, I don't mean to communicate that at all. This is not their fault. Adults have abused them. We have created a society that has damaged and abused them and called it normal. This is not fair. I don't know if we can fix it. I would like to see some neurologists and some neurological researchers weigh into this conversation, because I strongly suspect that many of them cannot be fixed. They can't acquire personalities, because I think a developmental window probably closed. And during that developmental window, all they had was this.
Yeah.
Right?
They're not even
Their
out with
parents
their
aren't looking
friends
at them.
when
They
they're
walk
ready
into
to.
the living room and their
Yeah.
parents are on their phone like this. I'm like, yeah, get a sandwich. Right?
An entire failure to launch too is like, an entire generation of kids that are failure to launch. So like you're going to have both of those effects. It's going to be catastrophic to all manner of society. But
It's already happening. I mean, it's just, and this is probably the mild end of it, but this is a lot of what makes being in public miserable for me these days.
mhm.
I can't stand it, because I can't have human interactions. I mean, I go into a store to pick up a prescription, to buy a sandwich, and if there's somebody in that age bracket in there, I just am crestfallen. I'm like, Jesus Christ. They
I
don't
have one
respond
way
to
I
any
counter it.
normative cues.
I have one thing that I do. I don't know if anybody is invested in trying this every now and then, but one of the ways you can beat it back is when you walk up to somebody like at a cash register or at a McDonald's, and they're a young person.
Mhm.
I typically do something. I mean, I'm always klutzy, but I'm always acting a little bit frazzled myself because I hate social situations. And but I'll always ask a question, not how are you? Did you see the weather? Nothing like that. I'll ask a question about their job. Have you tried
Okay.
the fries today? Are they any good?
What kind of response do you generally get?
If I get her, I just looking for a response, just an opportunity for them to open their mouth and offer an opinion will
Okay.
often, close some gap there. And
Okay.
it's something that you can try. It doesn't always work, but it is one of the things that I'll do, is launch with a question about that they can offer the answer to if they want to. So it just to open the door, because customer service doesn't allow for these kids anymore. I mean, they're all COVID kids, first of all, and they've been raised on their phones. They don't,
and they're all told by their employers to literally speak only from a script.
Yeah. And they're afraid. They're afraid to do anything wrong. They're all on camera at work. They're on camera at school.
That's true.
They're on camera every time somebody walks up and has got a gotcha moment. So, I mean, I find that very interesting. CB7505 sent in $5 and says, it's the zebra effect. Blend in because the dogs will pick you off if you stand out. People are just trying to be zebras.
Good point.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Digital latchkey kids.
Yeah, Sage, you're right. Digital latchkey kids. That's exactly what they are. Except this is far worse. I mean, we're the latchkey kid generation. But and that was not okay. It was not okay how many of us had to go home to an empty house and take care of ourselves. But it was not nearly as bad as what these kids are going through. They're actually some parts of being a latchkey kid that I'm actually glad happened to me, because I learned how to be competent at a really young age. Maybe it was too young, but I knew how to work a stove. I knew how to answer the phone and take messages. I knew how to talk to adults. I knew not to let strangers in. You guys, you and our brother Kurt, I babysat you from, I don't
remember when you
mom was leaving me with the two of you from the time I was at least 9 or 10 years old. And maybe that was a little bit young, but I was a perfectly competent 9 or 10-year-old babysitter.
Yeah, it was not an issue. We weren't particularly bad kids anyway.
No, we
Despite
didn't.
how
No. I mean, we didn't. The worst that ever happened when we were by ourselves is that we didn't pick up the toys enough. We didn't break things. We didn't steal stuff. We didn't go.
Well,
except that. Well, yeah, but that was a little bit later. I was already in kitty jail, so I didn't see.
Oh
that
no,
part.
I was stealing all the time.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, no, I stole from the age of 5.
God, what a street urchin! What were you stealing?
I would steal lifesavers from the grocery store and a package of certs once. That got me in trouble.
Okay.
I would steal everything from the rich girls at school, like their glittery crayons or their Watchimals, and hide them.
Watchimals.
Yes. I stole from rich kids.
A little bit of our mother rubbed off on you.
I was jealous. I hated them, and I wanted to be like them, and we had nothing. And I stole everything. It was like I was a textbook case of I did all of the things little abused girl does in the book.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I did that from a very young age. I was stealing things from people. I stole grandma's lipstick.
I did
Grandma
know
Sharkey's lipstick. Yeah. But I told her, I admitted it. And many, many years later, and said I still have it. And I do still have it.
Do you really?
Yes. It wasn't like I didn't steal things I stole things that reminded me of people.
Mm.
Except for the shopping, the store with stealing the breath mints. I loved those. So that was all me.
Yeah, and we didn't get treats. There wasn't money for treats. We didn't get candy and stuff like that when we went shopping. There just wasn't money for it.
Yeah. But
got a couple of comments here. Nia Op says $4.99. Thank you, sir. Says, according to Perplexity, which I imagine must be some online information source, 67% of people 18 to 25 are prescribed SSRI antidepressants in the US. If that's true, that is extraordinary. That is alarming. He says this is definitely a huge factor in the young zombie behavior.
67.3%?
That sounds
holy
well,
crap.
it sounds too high to be believable, but in this world we're living in, that may well be right. I'll have to go behind that, but We do know that far too many people are being prescribed psychoactive medication who don't need it or it won't work well for, and particularly young people. So mediocre witch, who I'm sorry, I just can't see you as merely mediocre. I'm going to think of you as good witch.
Fabulous.
$5 says, mine and the other homeschooled kids we interact with are nothing like this. I think in our case, it's spending much more time with parents and other adults and not on social media so much. Yes, obviously. Obviously, your kids are socialized. That's it. That's another reversal. That the ideas that mainstream people have about homeschool kids. I used to have these ideas. I used to say things like, how will they be socialized? They'll be zombies. They'll be stupid and blah, 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 blah. No, it's the exact opposite. And I remember when I first realized this, it was when I was a newspaper reporter at the News in Advance, or actually college, and my first newspaper reporting job. I was assigned a story. Excuse me. A couple of families who had homeschool kids. The kids had won statewide scholastic prizes in essay writing or something like. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I was assigned the story to cover. Local family wins statewide essay writing contest. These kids, these 12, 13-year-old kids, spoke like adults. They were so much more self-possessed and sophisticated than the children who went to public school, that even I, as a liberal who wanted to hate homeschooling, my eyes were opened by that.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating.
The Riv says, I'm in school with Gen Z and they all like to compare their meds. Well, not all, but most. I'm not surprised. And there's this interesting factor too that's going on where things that are falling into the SSRI category, the newer drugs, some of them are real bad.
Really? I'm not up with what the new ones are.
Well, my experience with Cymbalta, for example, you remember.
Okay.
Oh man, it was so bad.
Really?
Yeah. And it was an SSNRI.
Oh, SNRI. Yes.
Right. Okay. A serotonin norepinephrine.
Norepinephrine. Now, I've been taken to task a couple of times for making this distinction between the SSRIs and SNRIs, but in my anecdotal personal experience, there is a salient difference.
Oh yeah.
I've been on SSRIs. I started on Prozac when I was 17 years old. Yes, that was too young. But on the other hand, I had such a severe, actually diagnosed case of OCD that I couldn't sleep. I would engage in 5 hours of ritual repetitive behavior and speech patterns from like midnight till 5 a.m. It was really bad. I was out of my mind. And the drug was the only thing that touched that, the only thing that calmed down my obsessive thoughts that I couldn't turn off.
Mm-hmm.
6 of one, half dozen of the other. So I've been on Prozac, then I was on Zoloft, another SSRI. I now take Lexapro because I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people that falls off a cliff when I go off the antidepressants. But I did for a time take Effexor, which is an SNRI. And
I think they're all being lumped together when people talk about.
They are being lumped together. The SNRI was the worst experience. It's not that being on the drug was terrible. It did not work for me as well as the SSRIs did, but being on the drug wasn't terrible. But forgetting to take it for one day, I was in immediate withdrawal, and it was severe. Brain zaps, panic attacks, irrational hysterical crying out of the blue for no reason at all from missing one single dose after 24 hours. So I had to taper off that, and it was miserable. It was miserable getting off it. I'm glad I did get off it, but it was really hard. Quitting drinking wasn't that hard.
My life for at least a year. Like
I believe you.
It was awful.
I've talked to so many people. Oh my
6
God.
years. The first 3 years were fantastic. It worked and it did what it needed to do. I mean, I'm known for getting really sick, and that was back when I had the infection and in my face, in my mouth.
Yeah.
I had a MRSA infection in my mouth.
You did.
About 12, 13 years ago now. And it
We
almost
thought you were
killed
going to
me.
die.
Yeah, it almost did
Yeah.
take me out a couple of times. And when I started to recover, and I was so depressed and I felt awful, and they had to take all my teeth out because I had the infection in my jaw, and I lost all my
Yeah.
teeth. I haven't had any since, except for the 4 trying to hang on right now, which was really hard for me. I went from being, somebody who was out in public and having friends, and then to somebody who I looked at myself in the mirror and I felt horrible about myself.
Yeah.
And the meds really helped. They did. But I didn't realize what they were doing. And it brought me up, not up. It brought me up to a level I could kind of manage on my own and just
Yeah.
coast through for about 3 years. And then all of a sudden it stopped working. And so I didn't think it was that med. And all the other medicines I'm on, I fluctuated with trying to figure out what was wrong, except that one. I didn't mess with that one. And then the second I did, I was like, something's wrong with this med. I started to get weird. I started to feel delusional. They took me off the med and they said, it's got to be the Cymbalta. And those things changed right away. But then I crashed into a year worth of withdrawal. It took me a year to withdraw from Cymbalta. It was the worst experience of my life. I was completely disconnected from who I was. I didn't know how to deal anymore. It was awful. And they give that to you for fibromyalgia now, for pain relief. But it's an SNRI, and it doesn't make any goddamn sense that they're doing that.
It makes sense to me. I don't know what I'm missing, but
anyway, it's got a black box warning now. That stuff is terrible, awful.
Yeah.
And it will cause you to want to kill yourself. It really does make you suicidal.
Oh, Lord.
Yep.
Well, guys, Uncle Josh is tired this week. We usually go for a couple hours, and I usually invite you to come on board, but this is going to be a little bit of an abbreviated stream today because I need to go to bed early tonight. But we're going to have a great show for you coming up on Sunday at 9 p.m. on all the usual platforms. As always, we would love to have your support. Thank you to everybody who did a super chat, a Rumble rant today. If you want to make a one-off donation to us, go to disaffected.com and just click on support us, and you can give in any amount you want. And if you'd like to be a member, a supporting member, starting out with a monthly subscription at a very low cost, you'll get an invitation to our private members-only Discord with lots of good people. And you can do that either at disaffectedpod.substack.com or at subscribestar.com/disaffected. And before you go, some of you this is going to apply to. If you are not subscribed as a follower on Rumble or YouTube, please hit that subscribe button now. Give us a like. I know everybody says it, but the reason everybody says it is because we do have to play the algorithm game. It really does make a difference, and we've had a hard time growing on YouTube. So please subscribe to our channel, whatever platform you're on. Give it a like, share it with your friends, share it on social media, or share it by word of mouth, and we really appreciate the support. Thank you to everybody for joining us again tonight, and we will see you next week, and I will see you on Sunday at 9. Bye.
Bye.